All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to our show. I'm Mumbles, sitting here with our co-host, Pops and Salamander. Where we
Hey, what's going on, bro?
all right.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Here on our show where we do live reactions and we're also looking to do have conversations and just keeping up with current events of the day. And with that said, we're going to jump straight into what we have for you today.
Hey, family, just want to share some facts with you guys. Did you know in 1850 the Democrat passed a fugitive slave law? Meaning, if you got caught running away from the plantation, you was to be brought back to your slave master. In 1854, a slave named Joshua Glover ran all the way to Wisconsin, only to be captured to be put into prison. 5,000 so-called white men broke into that prison and set him free. 5,000 so-called white men again broke into that prison and set him free. 2 days later, they form an anti-slavery political party called the Republicans. The first president in the United States to come out of that party, that anti-slavery political party, Abraham Lincoln. And guess what? You know what he did for us, right? He set us free and paid the ultimate price with his life. So for every time you're calling yourself a Democrat, you slapping him in the face. For every time you vote for a Democrat, you slapping him in the face. I know, we know how much we love Abe Lincoln, right? Honest Abe. Why do you think they don't like Donald Trump in the White House? Because he tells the truth. He's the second president that's in the White House that can't be bought or can't be compromised. He's the second president that ever been in that White House to grace the White House with honor, dignity, and charisma. And the truth. Maybe that's why they don't want him reelected. I know Donald Trump, they say he's many things, but racist, he's not, because the suffix IST means the study of. Donald Trump never studied race. Prejudice, you might say, but he's not, because under his administration, more Black people have been able to get small business loans, big business loans, buying houses, buying, you name it. More single women, Black women in America, have been able to send their children off to college and universities. Under his administration. Is that prejudice? No, I don't think so. Listen up. Remember, for every time you're voting Democrat, you're slapping Abraham Lincoln in the face.
All right, and that's really end of that, her rant and her
I'm,
association
I'm,
of I guess Lincoln and Trump. But what you think about the young lady?
I mean, she's correct. I think what a lot of people find disconnect is that okay, most blacks voted Republican all the way up through Eisenhower. Okay, all the way up through there. I mean, people's grandmothers and great grandmothers were all voting Republicans. You know, and the '60s, the '50s and the '60s came around, and the liberal side of the Democratic Party started getting more stronger. So there's really two Democrat parties, a conservative Democrat Party and a liberal Democrat Party. And we gave them our loyalty. I mean, you know, Kennedy was a smooth cat. He just happened to be. Kennedy could have been a Republican just as much as he could have been a Democrat for real.
I was just gonna say if you're gonna bring up Kennedy, you have to like really be honest with the conversation and say in today's world, Kennedy would be considered more Republican than a Democrat.
Oh yeah, yeah. In today's politics, yes. But even back then, I mean, he was. He could have went either way for real. He was Catholic. That was a big catch with him that he was Catholic.
And
But
real quick, and I mean, I will get back on the late my reaction to the lady as well, but just off of what you said as far as about Kennedy and stuff, it's kind of weird that for Kennedy to be part of such an established family, well known political family and everything, but he was kind of outside the box when it came to some political beliefs. Definitely when it
well,
came to
he
war
was.
and when it came to what seemed to come to treatment of black folks and stuff, but he seemed to be outside the norm of the political elite, you know,
Well,
which
well,
probably got killed too, especially that being against war stuff. But
I want to mention something to you. The My opinion, that time frame. The Southern's poverty, the Southern strategy, and this and that. The conservatives and the Democratic Party hijacked the Republican Party. All them Southern states started voting Republican, and that's where the reputation has came to this point. And I think at this point, in some ways, the Republican Party is finally starting to fight against that. Because you're right, the Republican Party was the party of, it wasn't like it is now. It was shit, like I said, Eisenhower, Truman. Man, go find a black, well, if they're still alive at this point, that say something bad about General motherfucking Dwight D. Eisenhower, President Dwight D. Eisenhower. He ain't gonna have it. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain because it's like, okay, well, then if they felt that way, why it take so long to get to this point? And that's a fair question, also. You know,
well, again, she like she said, there's definitely some resemblances as far as what she in her statement wants to point out as far as Lincoln and Trump goes. So now
yeah.
I don't agree with everything that she's saying, but I understand the where she's coming from and what the 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 understanding behind what yeah, I mean, I don't know a better way to put it. I get where she's coming from. I just
I mean,
don't agree completely.
Can
correct
I
me if
tell
I'm
you?
wrong.
Would you say,
Um,
Solomon?
say correct me if I'm wrong, but from the video I got from it, is she basically saying, we should be voting and sticking with the Republican side since that's the side that stuck with us through the hard times of slavery and everything. But
Definitely.
that don't really justify of like the whole. I now I am young, so I don't really know much about it. But I mean, what about the Republicans? Like, wasn't George Bush a Republican?
Okay.
Well,
And with George Bush, you'll probably when it comes to race, you'll probably want to bring up what, Katrina?
yeah,
Okay.
like things borderline on that
All right.
didn't really benefit black people at the time of his run. I mean, it just kind of seemed like it's like a argument there. Like,
Now
That
you
is
want to blame
hold on.
George W. Bush for Katrina, but we can't blame all them years of government that spent the money up in the first place. That was all black. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
can
well,
I want to take it somewhere else real quick, just based off of what Salamander said. When you're talking about Katrina, when you're talking about Bush, and when you're talking about you see the racism in that, and yes, and that's one of the things that's going to continuously be pointed at is you're not looking at anything different when you're looking at the Republican and Democratic Party of nowadays. It's a uniparty. It's been unified. So, you know, one could argue that the Bush administration and the Clinton administration achieved the same things nationally, go globally, you know. Uh Criminally, as far as keeping Negroes in line too. They didn't really break that chain with each other. So, I mean, yeah, you can point at both Republicans and Democrats of modern day and say, man, the line's so blurred. I don't know where the difference is. That brings us
I,
to that whole
yeah, I
thing
would
that
say
you
I
argued
really
about the
don't.
uniparty.
I
Yeah.
was like
Uh,
growing up, the Republicans was always made out to be like like the devils and stuff to me. You always supposed to go blue.
yeah.
That's the
And that,
rapist.
but that's a lot of that comes out of ignorance too. Now you have to remember, it's been the national goal of any white supremacist to keep Negroes as ignorant as possible, not knowing nothing. So when it comes to our politics and our religions and stuff, yeah, we get a lot of our, we hate to admit it, but we get a lot of it out of ignorance, just word of mouth and what people are saying. And it's like, oh, you're supposed to hate the Republicans because they're racist, or, you know, you're supposed to be Christian because, well, that's just the way it is. Or, I mean, it's once we actually start looking at things for ourselves, we generally get away from those type of concepts. You know what I'm saying? Like normally, uh, your older black folks that you run into a lot of them that get a whole lot more conservative in their ways as they get older in their politics. Now they might still preach that Democrat thing because that's that propaganda, but you talk to them about their politics, and they'll sound just like a conservative. They will give you all the major talking points and all the things they care about will align with conservatism.